I do have to ask just a couple of questions just to make sure that I have all of the facts together. Miss Willis, are you receiving any assistance from Waco Housing Authority or any other federally government agency that where they pay so much of your rent?
Yes, housing do cover my full amount of rent.
Okay, housing covers your full amount of rent.
Yes, sir.
And how long has housing been paying your full amount of rent?
I believe for the last 2 years or a year or so, I could say.
So housing pays your full rent.
Yes, sir.
When was the last time you went for recertification with Housing Authority?
Back in August of 25. I don't know the exact date.
Do you have that letter that you received from the Housing Authority in August of 2025, which states that they are paying your full rent for this property?
The letterhead.
You have the letter?
No, I don't have the letterhead with me. No, no, sir, I don't.
But Your Honor,
Okay.
she is correct. I agree with her statement. Housing is paying the entire amount of rent. So this is for non-rental obligations only.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm looking at your petition, and I just want to make sure I'm getting a good understanding. Section 2, defendant enter into a lease with RCJ LLC or its assigner or predecessor entitled on or about June 23rd, 2025, rent is 16.17 per month. Defendant's rent is subsidized by the government. Her portion is $0. A copy of the lease attached hereunto. Exhibit A, defendant A has violated the rental payment and refused to vacate after notice given on November 7th, 2025. Rental agreement violation involved defendant's failure to pay sums due from August 2024 until present, which are still due and unpaid. What grounds are we here for with this eviction?
Yeah, yes, Judge. So there are some other obligations under the lease, which include like renter's insurance. They have a resident benefit package, and they've they've got some smart home fee. But basically, there's another $114 a month in non-rent obligations on this property, and those have never been paid.
All right, guys, buckle up because this case starts with something that instantly raises eyebrows. The judge begins by confirming that the tenant's entire rent is being paid by the housing authority, meaning she personally owes nothing toward the monthly rent. At first, it sounds like everything is in order, but then the twist appears. The landlord explains that this eviction isn't about rent at all. It's about additional monthly fees that were never paid. Suddenly, the situation becomes complicated, and the court begins digging deeper to understand exactly what's going on.
Tricky. So let's get into the case and let's figure this out. Mr. Berry, you started out by telling me a little more about the complaint. Go ahead and proceed on.
Yeah, yes, Your Honor. As I said, she's correct. The pure rent is $1,617 a month. We sent out the notice to vacate, a 30-day notice by us, regular and certified mail, Tarrant Housing on November the 7th of 2025. For this lease, because this lease actually began on 8/1 of 2025, just like she said about the recertification. So there would be a total of $684 due in non-rental obligations under this lease. For the entire lease, um, let's see, it's really like $2,102, but that'd be going back, like she said, she's lived here for, 2 years. Um, but as I look at it, she did sign a new lease on 8/1, so I'm going from 8/1 forward, and that's $684, which would be non-rental obligations.
So the tenant is here today because of non-rental obligations.
Yes, Your Honor. So we are seeking possession only in this matter.
So the tenant got a 30-day notice to vacate
Yes.
for non-rental obligations. Let's take a look at the lease. So I would like to go into detail, if you could, the lease and the agreement with housing authority. Because this is unique. I may have to call housing authority on this one because this is my first time having one like this, honestly. So I need to get a good clarification before I move forward. But go ahead. Let's talk about the lease and how and what type of relationship you have with the housing authority as it pertains to this unit.
Okay. Well, the lease has actually a summary. It's when you look at the first couple of pages, the bottom, it's numbered page 4. So that makes it easy. You can look at, they've got this $50 smart hub fee. They've got a $30 renter's insurance thing and a $34 resident package. So those are the items that have not been paid during the pendency of the lease.
She's been with she's been with this company for almost 2 years.
That's correct, Your Honor.
It's come to their attention now that they weren't being compensated for these extra fees that housing authority was not paying.
Well, I think they've known it, but they usually wait until there's in excess of, 1 month's rent total, essentially before starting eviction proceedings.
So the rent for this unit is actually 1617, but whenever you add the smart hub,
Right.
the insurance, and the benefit package, it brings it up to 1731.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're wanting the additional, what is that, 80,
It,
100
it it's
dollars.
114, yeah, dollars a month.
What about the what about the contract with Waco Housing Authority? Do you have anything that we can reference?
Let's see. I had seen a letter in here. We open up all the different little. Yes, I do have it.
Is it in the files here with me?
I've got the original one from. No, I've got the original one. Let's see, from 5/13/24. That's just got market rates and things. But that's where they requested the 1617. So that's the last time the lease went up. Looking at this, which I can email to you right now.
And Housing Authority has an agreement. I just want to, this may be a yes or no question. Does Housing Authority, or is their agreement, is it based on the rent alone and not the additional packages? Is that the agreement that Housing Authority has with your plan, with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And the your client, they did notify Housing Authority in writing that they intend to terminate the tenant's lease based on this
Yes, Your
complaint.
Honor.
Okay.
Let's see. There's that. And so I've just emailed you that, which is really just like one sheet of paper for the lease.
Uh, let me hear, Miss Willis.
Yes, sir.
Are you still staying there at this unit?
Yes, I'm here.
Tell me why you feel like you should not be evicted.
Um, for one, because like I said, housing is covering my full amount rent. So I feel like I've been in this unit. I was the first one to be in this unit. I keep the unit up. Like I keep make sure the grass is mowed. The diligence that I need to do on the house. I feel like if I can't afford the rent, I take full responsibility of the house fees. When I first got into this house, I was working for an insurance company. I was making the money. I could afford it. I lost my job. Housing started covering. I couldn't afford the extra fees that was on the house. I take full accountability for that. Um, I feel like I don't have anywhere to go. Like if I could have got out before I renewed it, I would have been left the house. If I could afford those moving expenses and stuff like that, but I couldn't. So it was like I was stuck here, and I couldn't go anywhere. Um, Due to the fees or whatever, housing is saying that I can't have no fees. I can move out the house, but I will have to have zero fees on the house in order for me to move. So I just been trying to catch myself back up, and I'm just a single mother. I don't. It's out of my control. I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to say to that. Like I don't. I do take accountability for that. I do know the house do have fees. No, I could not afford it. That's why housing was for covering my full amount of rent. And I'm basically stuck here.
So whenever you went in for recertification, um, I assume you were informed that they would only cover the rent, not these additional fees. Is that right?
No, I didn't. When I went into recertification this month, I really didn't speak with no one in the office because they have been backed up. So they told us and quite a few other people that was there that day to go online and recertify through there. So that's how I did everything online, but I never had a meeting or sat down with no one pertaining to the new lease or anything like that. I just went on recertified and they kept paying the rent. They didn't stop paying it. So I just figured that, everything was taken care of.
So the amount that let me see if I can clarify a little bit better. The amount that you were expecting them to pay, was that
Starting from 9:24 to 12:58, the tone of the courtroom shifts when the judge asks the tenant directly why she believes she shouldn't be evicted. What follows is a deeply personal explanation. She admits that she once had a stable job and was paying the extra fees without issue. But after losing that job, everything changed. Housing continued covering the rent, but the smaller additional charges began piling up. She takes responsibility, but explains that as a single mother with limited options, she simply couldn't keep up and now feels completely stuck.
just the rent only, not the additional fees?
Yes.
Okay. So you were fully aware that you were still responsible for those additional fees.
Yeah, I was responsible for those when I moved in to the house.
And as you stated under oath, you were paying them,
Yes.
but lost your job, and that created a financial hardship to pay the additional fees, but housing authority continued to pay your rent.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Berry, you're just seeking property, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you seeking your court costs, Mr. Berry?
No, Your Honor.
I looked through the paperwork. I see that the notice of vacate was sent via certified mail, so I didn't have to ask you that. Okay. Um, okay. Um, so with that being said, I'm going to rule in favor for the plaintiff for possession of the property, possession only. The plaintiff has waived court costs in this particular unit, so they're just seeking property. You do have the right to appeal my decision. They made some new changes to the laws, and I have to make sure that I'm up to date with those because it was effective January 1st. But when I last read it, I think they said the appeal bond has to be at least $250. And so that's what your appeal bond is going to be. That's yeah, that's the greater. Okay. So with that being said, you have 6 days from today's date to appeal my decision. If you do not appeal this judgment against you, and you are still occupying the premises located at 916 Olive Street, 76704. But make sure I'm clear. If you don't appeal and if you're still staying there, but after that 6th day, you got 6 days to appeal. But if you're still staying there after that 6th day and you don't appeal, then that 7th day, Mr. Berry, on behalf of the plaintiff, can take the next legal actions against you. That is when the constable will serve you with a 24-hour notice to move out.
From 1305 to 1605, the moment everyone has been waiting for arrives. After reviewing the facts and confirming that the landlord is only seeking possession of the property, the judge delivers the final ruling in favor of the landlord. Even though the rent itself was paid through housing assistance, the unpaid lease obligations still count as a violation. The judge explains the legal process that follows, including the tenant's 6-day window to appeal and what could happen if she stays past that deadline. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.
It could be the next business day. It could be business days 2 days after it filed. I don't know. No one really knows when they're going to serve you with this notice. Again, if you do not appeal and you're still occupying the premises. And once you receive that notice, if you have not vacated the property, the constable will be back over there within that, once that time period has expired. And that's where the constable will meet the members of the plaintiff, their representatives, maintenance personnel, whomever, movers, and they're going to be able to safely and peacefully remove all of your personal belongings. The constable will be there to act as security. That's going to be their job, to act as security. And then at that time, the movers will be able to take all of your personal belongings from inside of the home, clothes, whatever, they will put it in bags and they'll put it on the outside. Furniture, everything's going on the outside. Okay. That's how this ends. I think it's unfortunate. I strongly encourage you to contact Housing Authority by them of exactly what has transpired and see how they can assist you. Also, I strongly encourage you to contact EOAC. They may have, the keyword, they just may have some funds to assist you with emergency rental assistance, and that is to assist you with finding somewhere else to stay. I cannot force Mr. Barry, anyone from RGCA LLC to accept any funds from you after today's date.
Okay.
The EOAC, the assistance that they provide you with is just emergency assistance for relocation if they have any funds available. Do you have any questions, Ms. Willis?
Okay, so you say I have 6 days to appeal it and how long to get out?
If you don't appeal by that 6th day, then the constable will be serving you with another notice. It could be on the 7th day, it could be the 8th day. I don't know. It all depends on when it's filed with the court.
Okay.
Any other questions before we close out today's case?
No, sir.
Okay, good luck to you, Ms. Willis. We have another case that's on the docket. You're more than welcome to stay and listen to that case, where you can excuse yourself from the hearing. Okay.
Okay.
Richard.